Good afternoon. We are about ready to start our fall convocation. For those of you I have not met, my name is Tim Seidel. I'm the Vice President for University Advancement here at Eastern. And I would like to introduce Kathleen Brown, first off, and a group of her amazing students to help lead us in a little something to get us going. Kathleen?
So if you don't know me, I'm Kathleen Brown. I'm the Student Success Coordinator. I'm also now the cheer and dance coach. And so what, so wrong. So what we're gonna be doing is teaching you guys a new tradition that's called the Mountaineer Battle Cry. And so I'm gonna let them do it once, but then I'm gonna have you do it. And I don't wanna listen to anybody go, I want you to get up, because they came here specifically to teach you this, and I want you guys to show them some love when you guys get up with them.
Is everyone awake? Did that wake you up? Thanks, Kathleen. Let's give them a round of applause. Well, good afternoon and welcome to the kickoff of our 91st academic year. It is great to see all of you here today, and now that we're all fully awake and cheered up, let's start today's program by introducing the new employees who have joined our team over the past year. As you came in today, you hopefully grabbed a New Faces flyer, looks like this. And I'm going to take just a few minutes to introduce each new employee by unit. When I call your name, just please stand up so we can put a face and a name together. And then please hold your applause till at least I get the end of each major area. So in the Division of Athletics, I'd like to introduce Michael And by the way, apologies in advance if I managed to mangle any of your last names. I just wanted to say that up front. In the Division of Athletics, Michael Ayala, women's wrestling coach. Nicole Christian, head softball coach. Elizabeth Flom, assistant athletic trainer. James Lingar, assistant football coach. Nicholas Robertson, assistant football coach. Christopher Thew, head athletic trainer. And Skylar Williams, assistant football coach. In the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, Jess Burden, instructor of English and Writing. Jim Dupree, visiting assistant of professor of history. Scott Gleason, visiting assistant professor of art. Jessica Powpow, instructor of Spanish. Sherry Risdom, associate professor and writing center director. In the College of Business, Dr. Edward Henninger, Dean of the College of Business. In the College of Education, Jared Jolin, Assistant Professor of Education, and Dr. Matt Seamers, Dean of the College of Education. In the longest named college, the College of Science, Technology, Mathematics, and Health Sciences, Emma Feldkamp, Laboratory Instructor, Douglas Olson, Instructor of Mathematics, and Kim Young, GoSTEM Executive Director. In Finance and Administration, Dustin Burgess, Maintenance Worker 1, Devin Griggs, Programmer Analyst 1, Rufang Liu, Environmental Health and Safety 3, Greg Kitchen, Grounds Maintenance Worker 1, Marcia McClure, Custodian, Leanne Slippy, Assistant Director of Information Technology, Shane Spears, Equipment Systems Specialist, Mark Stratton, Trades Maintenance Worker 2, and Kathy Thompson, Administrative Program Assistant for Payroll. In the Office of the President, Caitlin Winkler, Executive Assistant to the President. In Pierce Library, Katie Backlund, Library Technician 3. In Regional Outreach and Innovation, Catherine Myers, Office Specialist 2, and Shayla Shearer, Office Specialist 2. In Student Affairs, Bianca Bates, Administrative Program Assistant for Residence Life. Lucy Castro, Office Specialist 2. Kathleen Christensen, Office Specialist 2. Katie Harris, Native American Program Coordinator. Mika Morton, Assistant Director of Diversity and Inclusion. And Douglas Robinette, Area Coordinator for Residence Life. In University Advancement, David Anderson, Webmaster and Digital Media Coordinator. We also have with us today several special guests in the audience who we'd like to acknowledge. Please stand when I call your name of our trustees and special speakers so we can say hello. Trustee Richard Shavs, Trustee Dixie Lund, Trustee Gary Keller, Trustee Helen Moore, Trustee Quentin Durfee, Trustee Abel Mendoza, Trustee Cheryl Martin, Trustee Bobby Connor, Trustee George Mendoza, and Trustee Brad Stevens. Thank you. We also have two additional special guests, ASEOU President Samantha Wegerman and EOU Foundation President Dr. Pat Nearing. I would now like to invite Trustee Richard Shavs to say a few words on behalf of the EOU Board of Trustees. Richard?
Did you say a few words? Okay. Seriously, it is always a pleasure and an honor for me to represent what I call your Eastern Oregon University Trustee Board. And we want to welcome you to what we know will be another year of passionate exchange of conversations by all of us, and always with the students first. The Trustee Board is in its 5th year of existence, and I think we've learned a lot over the past 4 years. I can tell by the discussions at the board meetings, we're more ready to take on issues, and I think one of the main things we've learned is to really try to listen to all sides of the story and come to decisions that everyone can be happy with or at least live with. I think it's a good thing that board members are now willing to disagree in open meetings and have healthy discussions and then work towards a resolution of things in a way that works for everyone. And even more than that, I think it's a really good thing that faculty and administration are willing to step up and give their opinions even when they're not the same as the direction the board is heading. I think the process we went through to select an OPM is a perfect example. The voices of faculty and administration through that whole thing helped us end up with what I believe is the best decision, and that's the Learning House. I won't go on about accomplishments over the last year, other than to say I'm really proud of Eastern Oregon University, including the selection of the OPM, in a slight increase in our fund balance. Last year we had a 1% overall increase in enrollment from the year before, while most of the other universities had a downward trend. The accreditation renewal, which was a tremendous amount of work for so many of you. Improvements in the sports and field facilities, and a lot more. I think it's all part of all of our efforts that we're able to do that, and I believe in my heart that we can continue to be successful and to grow as long as we remember that we're a team. It's okay to have disagreements. It's okay to have sensitive discussions. Then we need to come back together as a team and work together for our students. Right now we're dealing with a highly charged, highly political environment in Salem. I won't say too much about that, except I had a chance to go to Salem a few times on behalf of EOU during the legislative session. One of the good things that struck me is EOU has a lot of respect in Salem, and I believe that's in large part to our president, Tom Insko. And I don't think it's overstating things to say we may have the greatest respect of all the public universities in Salem at this point, which is an opportunity for us to impact higher education across the state. I mentioned our fund balance was up, which is true, and we really appreciate the $100 million that the state allocated in additional funding to higher ed. The thing to remember about that is higher ed said in total across all the universities, we need $120 million more just to maintain the level of services we had in the past year. So we're going to need everyone to pull together again this year and work hard to get maximum use out of the dollars that we have. Uncontrolled costs like PERS and PEB are the drivers behind a lot of that need for additional funding. I said our enrollment was up 1% from the year before, which is true, mostly because of on-campus enrollment increases. I don't know this year's numbers, so I can't speak to that. But I can say I know we devoted some marketing funds to increasing our on-campus enrollment, and I hope that that was the result of that. And then the downward trend in online hopefully will be reduced in the years ahead. I don't know how long it'll take to hit, thanks to the use of Learning House. So we must be willing to continue to disagree and then to stay together as a team. And I want to thank every board member, faculty member, administration, classified employees. It's so great to see so many examples of dedication here. It makes it fun to be a board member, and you just don't say that about a lot of boards that you're on. I'll give you one quick example, and then I'm out. I was talking to the parent of a student who graduated from EOU last June, and she said that her son had gone to one of the larger universities in the state for the first 2 years and then transferred to EOU. And he was amazed at the attention he got from the faculty members and his professors and his advisors and everyone else. And she was amazed. And she said, how does EOU have that quality of people in a small university like they have and provide the education at the cost they do? And the only thing I can think of is you all are so dedicated to the students. And that always has to be our number one. She also said she wished she didn't have $40,000 of debt from the first 2 years at the other university. So I'll just close with, the board may be charged with steering the ship, but the sails and the wind and the motor and the navigation, that's you guys. So please help us keep moving forward successfully, and here's to a great 2019-20 academic year. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. I would next like to introduce Dr. Pat Nearing, President of the EOU Foundation Board of Directors, to come up and give us a welcome.
Good afternoon. Huh. I love it when they keep song lyrics simple. It makes it easy for me. It's my pleasure to be here today on behalf of the Board of Directors and all of our dedicated trustees of the Foundation to offer a welcome and to say thank you for your service at the university and thank you for community service. You might recall at last year's Convocation ceremony, we shared the announcement of our first ever multi-million-dollar gift from a living alumnus, Mr. Denver Ginsey. Well, I wish I was here today to announce a similar announcement, but I will have to say that we've had some great, wonderful gifts given this year, and there are many more in the works, and I think you might hear of some upcoming ones in the next few days. And this year, it's been really an incredible year with our alumni and supporters of the university, so we want to thank all of you. This past year, the foundation provided more than $600,000 in scholarships to students this year. And this is a new record. We recognize that scholarships help drive enrollment, and that this is why the advancement team and our trustees are working daily to increase the number of scholarships available to our students. One of these new scholarships is a $100,000 endowment specifically for students from rural Oregon and speaks directly to Eastern Oregon University's status as Oregon's rural university. We are also working to increase the amount of support for faculty development and academic programs on campus. The 4 deans, including our 2 newest deans, have met with the foundation leadership, and we are very much looking to integrate them and our faculty into our strategic planning process for the upcoming year and for the years ahead. As part of our strategic planning process, We have developed what we believe is a clear and concise mission statement that speaks to why we exist. Put simply, our mission is to engage our alumni, friends, and communities to enhance the quality and vitality of our students and university. In doing so, we are striving to raise more money for EOU than ever before. To accomplish that, personal contacts and alumni and philanthropic partners by the advancement team and foundation trustees are at an all-time high. More than 400 contacts, personal contacts, have already been made this year alone. We are establishing stronger collaborations with our partners, the Alumni Association and the Mounties Athletic Association, as well as working to establishing regional hubs in areas where we have significant number of alumni, like Portland, Boise, and the Tri-Cities. We believe, without a doubt, this increase in activity will result in an increased support for Eastern Oregon University. I want to close my remarks today by reminding each of you that the values and principles that guide the university are shared by the Foundation's leadership and trustees. Through our outreach and activities, we strive to create a culture of philanthropy, both in terms of financial contributions and in greater service to the students, faculty, staff, and leadership of Eastern Oregon University. The journey of Ascent 2029 is well underway, and we are honored to partner with the university in achieving unprecedented success. As I shared last year, and I still believe it, our best is yet to come. Thank you. Whew.
And I'd like next to introduce Samantha Wegerman, our student government president, to bring a welcome from the students. Sam?
Hello, everyone. My name is Samantha Wegerman, and you're all welcome to call me Sam. I'm the elected student body president for the 2019-2020 academic year, and I'm honored to have received this invitation to speak at Convocation. Before we dive in, I would like to share a little bit about myself with all of you today. I'm from Central Oregon. Specifically, I grew up in the small rural town of Culver. In a few short days, I will enter into my senior year, and if everything goes to plan, I will graduate with a degree in business administration with a concentration in marketing and a minor in communication studies. Up until this point, my student leadership has been represented through our Residence Life program. My freshman year, I was the secretary for the Residence Hall Association. As a sophomore, I was proud to say that I was a resident assistant, and last year I was the hall coordinator for EOC, EOU's off-campus housing option. I'm also a member of TRIO and an alum for the National Millennial Community. Throughout my time at Eastern Oregon University, I have witnessed, experienced, and cherished the community that has been created here. Today, I want to discuss ASEOU's goals with all of you. Our Senate established 3 goals that we will be holding ourselves accountable for this year. Each goal is intended to strategically provide long-term benefits to EOU students. Our first goal: we will promote campus initiatives with a primary focus on expanding student financial knowledge and responsibility. We're not blind to the likelihood of student debt for many college students, but many students, especially on our campus, are not aware of campus and community workshops which aim to increase financial literacy and already exist. Many students are not confident when it comes to applying for scholarships or when to start paying off loans. Our ASEOU team wants to connect students with available resources to help mend this gap. Our second goal: we will host at least one student activity per term around health and wellness. The term health and wellness can often be unclear, so here's a definition of both parts. Health can be defined as the soundness of body or mind. Wellness is a series of positive choices made to live life to the fullest. I hope we can all agree that these are constructive practices for our university to adopt. And our third goal: we will host an environmental awareness event aimed at increasing institutional and student responsibility around protecting our planet. Our students are facing a future unlike any our society has seen before. Temperatures are rising, natural resources are depleting, and waste is increasing. We must find a way to change our habits to create a more sustainable future for all. We believe that this event will be a small step in the right direction. As I enter into my senior year of study, I'm eager to embrace this position in ASEOU and lead our student body to new levels of greatness. Although this is my first year in student government, I'm confident I'm prepared for this role due to the mentorship I've received from the College of Business, Residence Life, University Advancement, and many others. I'm beyond grateful for the support I've received from faculty and staff at EOU, and I know many other students and alumni feel the same gratitude. Students will be arriving soon for the approaching academic year. Please keep in mind the impact you have on the student body and your ability to strengthen not only this university, but the future of society as well. I look forward to working with you over the course of this year, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sam. Even though she didn't mention it, we're very proud of her in University Advancement. She's a fantastic student employee in our marketing department, so we really are proud of her. Next up, I guess it's time for the big show. I'd like to introduce President Insco to take us on through the afternoon.
Get turned on here real quick, possibly. Am I on? You can hear me? All right, good. Happy New Year! Thank you all for coming back. We had a great morning. It's always nice to have a few of you here for the Convocation message, and it's great. For many of you, it's your one opportunity to hear from directly, usually our board chair, but in this case, Richard as trustee and chair of the Finance and Administration Committee, and also Pat with our foundation. And I'm going to show you some graphics that illustrate how important our relationship is with the foundation, what it's allowed us to do over the course of the last 4 years that's really had a profound impact on our students. I also want to thank Sam thanks for giving us allowing us to call you Sam, because I always do. I've mentioned this before, but one of the transformational experiences that I had at EOU was when I was challenged by Dean Stenard to step up and be on the Senate and then in the executive group of student government. And I learned so much during that time, but again, it is an illustration for me of what's really special about our time here at Eastern Oregon University and our students' time because of the wraparound of support that I experienced, and that's our commitment to you, Sam, too, as you work with us as a university to make this a stronger community. So thank you for your leadership. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all the new employees that have joined us over the course of the year. Hopefully, you're getting a picture of this being a special place. Not that every day is apple pie and peaches, but that we truly care in our university and most importantly, in our students. And so welcome to our team. We look forward to your innovation, your energy, and all as we move forward this year, and look forward to all that you contribute to making EOU great and helping us along the ascent as we aspire to truly be an elite rural university in 2029. I do also want to thank Lori Baird and Doug Briney for your leadership of the Faculty Senate and University Council last year. These are big jobs, they're time-consuming activities, and really important for our institution. So thank you. And incoming leaders, Vicki Hart and Bill Grigsby. Bill will be faculty, or is, Faculty Senate President, and Vicki is University Council Chair. So thank you for stepping up into these important leadership roles. I think it's great, Sam, that one of your goals for student government is around environment. And I think it highlights us being a rural university. And it's a place that we can actually lead in the state of Oregon in terms of identifying solutions going forward. I've been invited, for example, and actually one of our trustees, to a conference down in Silvies Valley to talk about water issues and to talk about what is our 100-year plan for Oregon relative to water. And so here's a tremendous opportunity for our students to be engaged and thinking very long-term about solutions for the state of Oregon and beyond, because you're right, we have big challenges in this world, and you are the ones that are going to take that on. So great to hear that. Now I need my clicker so we can actually move along. Oh, there we go. Richard mentioned accreditation. And I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about some foundational results for our institution before I share a video with you. As you know, I like to have a video speak about accomplishments and where we're going versus me just jabbering up here in front of you. But over the course of last year, as many of you know, we went through our site visit, our 7-year review as an institution. And it's really about, are we fulfilling our mission as an institution? And I want to particularly acknowledge Karen Clay, Donald Wolf, Holly Chasen, and Heather Cashel for their leadership in coordinating these activities. But I want to thank all of you that were either directly or indirectly involved in this. I don't know about you. I didn't know what to expect. As you know, I'm not from the academy. I've only been here, I'm starting my 5th year, so this is my first. I'm asking questions. You know, how disruptive will this be? All these people coming in, asking questions. And it was amazing how seamless the process went. And I think that's really a tribute to what all of you do on a day-to-day basis. And we simply had to demonstrate what is going on here at EOU. And it was my honor to go to Seattle and meet with the full commission and get their feedback. And the number one thing that I want to share with you, and I've shared before, but I doubt all of you know this or heard this, is they were astounded by our focus on students. They could see that care that we talk about, and so it's nice to have an external party come in and actually verify for you. Sometimes you can talk yourself into something that's not actually true. They experienced that. And the other thing that I was really proud of is they said it's not just in the physical classroom, it's beyond that, and it goes into your online modality, which many institutions and many programs can't say that. So again, thank you for all that you do that allowed us to go through this process with flying colors. So also foundational to our institutional's long-term operational excellence, I've talked about these 4 pillars: performance, efficiency, support, and philanthropy. You heard a little bit about philanthropy. That's a critical part of us delivering on our strategic plan and our mission. But we also need to continue to focus on how can we perform better. And Richard mentioned the partnership with the Learning House. That's going to challenge us a lot, and I actually love that. Some of you are probably going, yeah, you're not the one living with it. I'm right there with you. We need to be challenged because we need to perform better. We need to change the narrative about the value of education, higher education that is, in this nation. And if we're getting better, it's so much easier for me to be able to go out and tell the story of EOU and continue to build on the credibility that we've built in Salem already going forward and illustrate the great things we're doing. Again, this was referenced some by Richard. So where are we financially as an institution? So if there's one thing I worry the most about as president, obviously accreditation and all those things are critically important. But what I want to ensure is that every one of you gets to focus on what you do best. If you're faculty, focus on being a professor and engaging that student, creating the excitement for those students. I don't want you to worry about our financial condition as an institution as we did a number of years ago. And so we finished FY19. You can see from this graph, the red zone is nasty. We don't ever want to be there. The green line is the target, and we're obviously above that target. You may look at that and go, holy smokes, you finished with $9 million of fund balance. That's less than 3 months of operating reserves, so it's not like we have a tremendous amount of money there, but it does give us a cushion that allows us to begin to talk about investment. It allows us to make decisions to hire actual full-time and tenure-track faculty as we begin to build these programs. It allows us to begin to invest in other student services as we go forward. So I'm excited to begin to shift that conversation of what can we do versus how do we just continue to survive. And this is really a result of all your hard work and efforts. As you can see, we're estimating a slight decline at the end of this next fiscal year, but still in good condition as an institution. So what's the challenge that I worry about? Richard talked about $100 million. Sounds like a lot of money. I'd take $100 million bucks. So the PUSF is the funding model that the state of Oregon uses to give funds to universities. Don't worry, we'll get past this boring, financial stuff. This is what I love. But do you notice something there that's kind of problematic? So what that bar represents is the biennial change. So how much we got last biennium that just ended, June 30th, and the biennium in front of us. So biennium over biennium, we're going to see a 6% increase in state funding. That's about 3% this year. Roughly, it's not exactly, but 3% this year and about 3% next year. You can see what the other institutions get relative to Eastern Oregon University. This isn't all because we're somehow disadvantaged as a university. I'm not going to go into the details if you ever have a question about this, but we are the most disadvantaged as an institution when we talk about investment in higher education because of how the funding model works. So we'll continue to work on that. We're going to go through a process with the HEC where we'll continue to talk about the importance of Eastern Oregon University and public support. But in the meantime, that just ups the ante for us in terms of how we need to perform. And this dynamic has existed since we've had this new outcomes-based model. And I want to share with you something that we just started pulling data on because I wanted to understand this as I talk about EOU's story. And what are we fundamentally about beyond just student access? We're an institution of access and opportunity. We're an institution that looks at affordability arguably more closely and with more commitment than any other institution in the state of Oregon. 52% of our incoming class last year, both freshmen, first-time freshmen, and transfer students were low income. 52%, more than half. Our students have significant affordability gaps when it comes to higher education. And so what's happened over the last 4 years? When you think about affordability, we've had tuition go up over those 4 years by 18.7%. That's gross tuition. So 4 years ago, full-time student, 45 credits a year, $6,030. I'm not going to tell you how much it was when I was a student here. It'd age me. Today, well, as of our last fiscal year, it was $7,155. It's up another 5% this year as a result of our financial challenges. At that same time, our scholarships and fee remissions went up by 81%. And so in 14-15, we distributed $1.8 million of scholarships and fee remissions. Scholarships would be what comes from the foundation. Fee remissions are what the institution distributes through various awards to our students, like University Scholar or a transfer award for students to come to EOU to help make it more affordable. Tremendous increase. So what's the net effect in terms of tuition to our students? Net effect, you see the gross line going up, and the red bar, we pulled Oregon students, so this is Oregon resident students, and we took their resident tuition rate and we discounted fee remissions and scholarships. And what's happened is if you look at tuition change over in the grid on the left, the gross versus net, you see what we see in the press, 5.2, 3.5, 5.4, 3.3. On the right is the net impact. So during the last 4 years, we've been able to hold tuition increases on a net basis, on average across the Oregon students, below inflation. I think that's exemplary, given we've done that while we've also built a fund balance and repositioned our institution for great success going forward. And that's compliments to you, that's compliments to everyone. As we think about the pillars of success, we're performing better, we're finding efficiencies to reduce our costs, to improve the cost position of EOU. We're also changing the public narrative so that we garner public support from the state. And finally, gifts like that of the Ginsey family, who's shown up here last year, have allowed us to keep that net cost down for students. So I'm extremely excited about that. If you ever have any questions about any of this, I would love to go through that, the economics of our institution. But I want to shift gears. So that was kind of the dole numbers, foundational aspects of the institution. But there are great things happening at Eastern Oregon University. I thought about going through the whole list, and we'd be here way too long. So we put together a video again. It can speak much more volumes than I could ever accomplish speaking with you. We'll show that, and then I'll close out with a couple more remarks.
The Eastern Edge. It's about high-quality programs, access for all, and discovering new ways to live, learn, and succeed at Eastern Oregon University. Oregon's Rural University stands for altruism, civility, discovery, integrity, interdependence, and quality. Join us on the ascent. Student success is literally our #1 goal, and we see it in graduates who leave EOU with the competence and the confidence to succeed. EOU alumni are leaders in Eastern Oregon and throughout the world, in agriculture, medicine, education, politics, technology, business, art, and more. The relationships they build here transform students' lives. Meaningful interactions with faculty, peers, and mentors enrich academic quality and enhance intellectual vitality. Students get hands-on learning experience through the agency, a marketing course that partners with local businesses. More than 150 upperclassmen representing every department on campus shared their research at the 2019 Spring Symposium. EOU faculty model interactive teaching styles for their students, working teachers and high schoolers through the Oregon Teacher Pathway program, which celebrated its first graduate last year. These and other programs move us closer to excellence in teaching and scholarship. And we aren't keeping it to ourselves. This year, EOU made strides toward reaching an ever-growing number of students by expanding access and opportunity for all. By 2029, we hope to welcome 2,500 on campus and 5,000 online students. In May, trustees approved an agreement with the Learning House to enhance online student recruitment and retention. ASTIO scholarships attract our region's highest-performing students to STEM fields and keep them engaged as ambassadors. Mountaineer Success Teams launched last year to connect students of potential with mentors from the EOU community. As our community grows, these and other programs and partnerships keep it thriving. On campus and off, EOU seeks to be a great place to work and learn. Together, we're creating an inviting, inclusive, and supportive university culture that fosters diversity and exemplifies our values. The newly launched Office of Student Diversity and Inclusion facilitates intercultural opportunities for students, staff, and faculty throughout the year. Well-maintained, accessible, safe, and secure facilities promote quality of life, while ongoing emergency training and preparedness initiatives improve campus-wide awareness of security measures. As our student population grows to reflect a cross-section of Oregon, events like Connectate establish EOU as a hub and a resource for Latinx-serving organizations. Our thriving university community includes every member of staff, on campus and off, deans and adjunct professors, administrators, coaches, prospective students and their families, alumni, donors, trustees, and friends of EOU. Together, it's possible to become the university we strive to be. This distinct interest and collaboration sets us up to nurture relevance and interconnection among academic programs and the region. Part of our role at EOU is to serve as the educational, economic, and cultural engine for rural places. The revived Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing features a focus on ecology, wilderness, and community that includes a powerful connection to the Fish Trap Writers Group in Joseph. Educational partnerships like this one promote rural community prosperity by connecting businesses and nonprofits with faculty research, student interns, and well-informed graduates committed to this region. Cottonwood Canyon Summer Institute is another example of this mutually beneficial relationship. Students build solar charging stations and conduct field science at a state park alongside faculty and high schoolers. As Oregon's rural university, we remain committed to promoting prosperity and resilience in rural communities. That same attention to sustainability applies on our own campus as we work to steward and grow the university's financial and capital resources. EOU now stands in the strongest financial position in the institution's history. Thoughtful management of university funds through an inclusive budget building process has contributed to a more sustainable financial position. Donors gave more than $1.5 million in 2018, and the EOU Foundation awarded more than $650,000 in student scholarships. New activities like the Blue and Gold Weekend increased alumni participation and contributed to growth in the Booster Club and the Capital Campaign. The Building Champions campaign has raised nearly $350,000 toward updated athletic facilities that attract students and serve the community. Strengthened connections with lawmakers and peer institutions have given EOU a place at the table and recognition as a thought leader in higher education. These relationships cultivate respect and accountability among state leaders and legislators. Expanded revenue from grants, sponsorships, and alternative sources also contribute to EOU's financial sustainability. And we continue to explore these opportunities through development of the field house and other projects. This fall, join EOU as we continue the ascent toward EOU's centennial in 2029.
Know that you possess the ability to craft a life of meaning and meaningful acts in service of others. And never forget where you come from. Each of you is from Eastern Oregon, and someone from Eastern Oregon can do anything.
Discover the Eastern Edge at Eastern Oregon University.
I'm sorry. I love this place. And being able to put together a video like that, to go to Salem and represent you, to wake up at 2 o'clock this morning, worrying about whether I'm serving well enough as your president. We have something so special here at Eastern. And we have tremendous opportunity in front of us. We have so much work to do. But what I'm committed to is a thriving university, thriving communities, but most important, that we have students that come here and thrive. That's our edge. we're special. We can provide those things that I talk about in terms of those 6 elements that our students so desperately need to go on to have a successful career and a great life. And I'm not going to go through all of our goals here. I just ask you to, as you begin to embark on this year, as we get into our routines, take a little time to look at our annual report. And I also challenge you to spend a little time looking back at commencement. We live stream these things. Don't watch the whole thing. But there are 2 things I want to highlight, 3 things actually. It was so moving for me last June to sit right here and watch the students receive their awards from their faculty and to see the success of our students, but more importantly, to see the relationships that they had with their faculty, knowing that they were going to go out and be outrageously successful as individuals. That's something we can do and people see here at Eastern Oregon University that is distinct, that is an edge. And I found it interesting that our first online President's Scholar that has never been to this campus was able to experience that as well. And it was interesting as well that I picked the President's Scholar artwork that happened to be a quilt called Motherhood by Amanda Welch, a beautiful piece of artwork. And then Corey Heyman, our President's Scholar, talked about how her experience at EOU, she related it to a quilt and referenced the quote here from Mary Tatum and talked about how the stitching really was emblematic of the experience that she had at Eastern Oregon University. Pure coincidence that we had 2 quilts that came together and talked about the experience students have. And finally, Sky Fitzgerald, a friend of mine, you heard him at the end of this video. I couldn't give him proper recognition at commencement because both times I was fighting back his challenge to us. And he talked about linchpin moments that I think connect well with why we're here at Eastern Oregon University. He talked about being grateful, having gratitude for simple things. So I ask that you do one thing today as well as you leave our reception. Go outside and take in what we're blessed to be surrounded with. The landscape around us, the wonderful campus that we have, the great place that we have to offer our students. Take that in and be grateful, whether you're a student or whether you're someone that's been here for 20 plus years. It's too easy to forget what a special place we have here. He also talked about fear. He talked about embracing it, leveraging it, know it. And we're in that space now with our bold goals with the ascent that we're going to have to take risks at times. We're going to have to embrace fear to do it wisely as we move forward collectively. But we are going to have to allow that to manifest as we move forward as a team. And I loved when he talked about his experience with Mark Shadle. Many of you know Professor Shadle. And how he learned about his degree here being about creating a life worth living versus defining what his worth would be. And finally, he ended with altruism. He didn't use the word altruism, but that's what I heard when he talked about being in Tokyo and being in a downpour and a woman offering her umbrella as they walked across the street. And his challenge to those students, and I think it's a worthy challenge of us, that goes back actually to the defamation experience that we went through earlier today. He said, see others, see need, see you have your own umbrella to share. And so as we move forward, maybe, in a great year, a new year, our 91st year. I'm sorry I'm bringing this down with my emotion. That's not my intent. All of us have an umbrella, and you demonstrate that consistently every year, and I'm so proud of that. But I challenge you to identify how we can do more of that, how we can see others, how we can see need, and how we can share our umbrella to truly graduate students that move on to have a great life and a great career, because that is the Eastern Edge. I look forward to this year. I look forward to working with you. I look forward to working through the challenges that we're going to have as a university. But I believe that greatness is not a function of circumstance. Greatness, it turns out, is largely a matter of conscious choice and discipline by having the intention of seeing, recognizing, and giving as a university community. So in closing, thank you. I appreciate all of you for all that you do. Let's have a fantastic 91st year here at Eastern Oregon University, and together it's possible. As we climb that mountain, we're going to accomplish extraordinary things here at Eastern Oregon University. So thank you. Please join me out in the lobby for beverages and food. And again, I want to recognize the EOU Foundation for making that all possible for us. Let's go celebrate community, let's celebrate one another, and let's celebrate the launch of a new year here at Eastern Oregon University. And it's my honor and privilege to serve as your president. Thank you.